Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein Visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein Visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt.
While immigrant families wait years for a chance at the American dream, often risking everything for work, study, or safety, Melania Trump was granted an Einstein Visa she didn't earn, meant for Nobel winners, Olympic champions, or world-changing innovators. Ordinary people face obstacles, delays, and even deportation, while the powerful get special treatment. How can America claim fairness when merit is ignored and privilege rules?
Thank you so much. It's interesting that we're being accused of wanting all kinds of criminals to be on the streets, or that we don't believe that people should show up to their meetings and appointments. Last time I checked, there's a lot of people that are actually being grabbed as they are going in for their appointments. In fact, we know that one of the candidates that was recently running in this mayoral, he ended up being arrested because he decided that he was actually going to escort people that are actually showing up to their meetings. Or we know that the Pope, yes, the Pope himself, decided that the church may need to have people that are going to escort people as they're going into their meetings, because the reality is that what they are claiming what they want to do versus what they're actually doing, the actions don't match up. And while we are supposed to be talking about visas, somehow we continue to cherry pick and talk about one criminal act and another criminal act. And it is so very interesting to me that, yes, we will say people are xenophobic, because when you start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal, that does sound kind of xenophobic to me, because you are using a paintbrush to paint an entire group of people where the vast majority of them are coming here because they are actually seeking a better life. But let me get to what this hearing is supposed to be about. The idea that Trump and my Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear. Integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings because kids decide that they want to go after Trump or this administration. We have a thing called free speech in this country. And since we're talking about integrity, I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein Visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein Visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here. Nevertheless, what Republicans are doing with this reconciliation process, the travel bans and revoking visas, jeopardizes our national security. It threatens our communities, our higher education, and our economy. Visas like the largely vetted J visas for higher education and M visas for trade, training, attract the next innovators, medical providers, researchers, and educators that we need to build on American success. I'm not gonna mess up your name, so I'm not doing that. But I'm with you, okay? In your experience, do individuals on J or M visas typically improve or impair our economy?
They generally improve the economy, and I can give a brief example. My wife is a very successful woman. She makes a ton of money, which I'm grateful for. And the reason why we're able to do that while having 3 children is because of the au pair visa, somebody who is here on a J. Okay. Who is here and able to supply this for us. But I also want to defend Melania real quick. Not everybody could marry Donald Trump, and I think that's quite an achievement. So I think she deserves credit for that. Nobody up here could have done it.
You sure right, I couldn't do it. But anyway, in fact, J visa holders holders contribute $43.8 billion to the U.S. economy and support more than 300,000 jobs. And make no mistake, immigrants improve the health of U.S. citizens too. Despite the fact we already have a doctor shortage, Trump's reckless travel ban and visa overhaul are exacerbating this crisis by impairing hundreds of hospitals with foreign-trained doctors set to do their residencies here in the United States, meaning fewer people will get the help they need and more people will die. Now, let me remind you that Republicans are trying to gut Medicaid. Roughly 4.5 million people receive caregiver services through Medicaid, and most of these folks are in red states. And wouldn't you know that in 2023, Kaiser Family Foundation estimated that almost 30% of long-term care providers or home caretakers were immigrants. It's like Republicans want Americans to suffer. Now, Republicans say visas make us less secure, but let's talk about how you visas given to victims of crimes like rape, murder, human trafficking, torture, abduction, kidnapping, to help law enforcement with their investigation or prosecutions of these crimes. These folks are risking their own security for broader safety of Americans and our communities. Thank you so much. I will yield.
Gentlelady yields, and our chair now recognizes him.
When we watch a congressional hearing about visas, it's easy to think of it as a technical, bureaucratic issue, forms, approvals, and government jargon. But Jasmine Crockett reminds us that behind every visa is a human story, a family, a career, or a life-changing opportunity. She exposes a profound tension between political narratives and the lived reality of immigrants and lawful visa holders in the United States. Crockett's critique cuts to the heart of a dangerous hypocrisy. Republicans claim they are restoring integrity to the visa system, but what does that mean when integrity is applied selectively? When lawful visa holders are threatened or revoked over minor infractions, or simply because the administration disapproves, but influential figures, including members of the president's family, receive elite visas like the EB-1 Einstein Visa without meeting the standard qualifications. Integrity in policy should mean consistent, fair, and transparent enforcement, yet the system is being weaponized as a tool of political advantage rather than fairness. This isn't merely about privilege. It's about consequences that ripple through our economy, healthcare, education, and national security. J and M visa holders, who study, train, and work in the United States, contribute billions of dollars to the economy, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and fill essential roles in research, healthcare, and innovation. U visa holders, often survivors of horrific crimes, are cooperating with law enforcement to keep communities safe, risking their own security in the process. When policies are used to penalize them instead of protect them, the system not only fails these individuals, but also endangers the public good. Crockett's commentary also humanizes what is too often abstracted. These policies affect real people with names, families, and futures. Immigrants come here to contribute, to care for families, to heal patients, to teach students, to innovate in ways that benefit all Americans. When their visas are revoked or the process is politicized, it's not just a bureaucratic misstep. It's a disruption of lives, families torn apart, hospitals left understaffed, and communities deprived of critical skills. Furthermore, the EB-1 visa for extraordinary achievement, labeled the Einstein Visa, underscores the troubling gap between rhetoric and reality. While lawful applicants must demonstrate sustained achievements such as Nobel Prizes, Olympic medals, or groundbreaking contributions, members of the president's own family have been awarded such visas without those qualifications. It's not just an ethical question, it's a structural one. How can a system maintain legitimacy when rules are enforced inconsistently? How can the public trust a policy meant to attract global talent and reward merit when it is bent for political or personal advantage? Crockett also illuminates the broader implications for national security and the economy. Restrictive or reckless visa policies harm hospitals struggling with a shortage of doctors, universities depending on foreign researchers, and tech companies competing in a global economy. They stifle innovation, slow economic growth, and threaten the health and safety of citizens. Visa policies, after all, are not abstract. They are mechanisms through which the country cultivates its future. At its core, Crockett's point is moral and civic. America's promise of fairness, opportunity, and rule of law is only as strong as the systems that uphold it. Policies should protect people, incentivize contribution, and maintain integrity. When they do not, the consequences are personal, tangible, and far-reaching. This hearing is a reminder that the debate isn't simply about politics. It's about the type of country we want to be. Are we a nation that enforces rules fairly, protects contributors, and upholds due process? Or are we a nation where the powerful are shielded while others face arbitrary punishments? Crockett's questions challenge us to think critically, demand accountability, and recognize that behind every visa number is a person whose life and potential can be profoundly affected by policy. Understanding these dynamics isn't just informative, it's essential for anyone who wants to engage thoughtfully in civic life. If you believe in fairness, accountability, and the importance of human-centered policies, share this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for in-depth analysis of how government decisions impact real people every day. Awareness is the first step towards action, and action begins with knowledge.